Hello, LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Casey, and I'm here with my friend Trisha. And this is the second episode in our series on HubSpot AI for beginners. Um, as HubSpot has released a lot more AI tools in platform, Trisha and I are eager to kind of use them to the best of our capabilities, but it can be overwhelming. So I'm excited to have you here on our journey. Hello, Trisha. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here. And I think the thing that we all have to do is we just have to start somewhere. And so, we created a space here where we've committed time to just starting, like start using the tools, start getting familiar with them.
Yeah. And today we wanted to chat about how you can take your content, existing content, and maximize it, I guess is how I want to say that. Um, and using HubSpot's tools to do that. I mean, if you're using AI at all, you're probably using it to make content. Maybe that's a lie. That's how maybe I should say that a different way. I started using AI to help me make better content, and make content more efficiently. And for me, that was my entry point to AI. Um, was yeah, making my content better. And now I can't imagine making an email, making a blog post without AI, personally. So today wanted to walk through some of the tools available in HubSpot to do that. Before we jump in, Trisha, do you want to give a little background on how you've used AI? Yeah, how you've used AI to make content, historically and now.
Uh, so I haven't used the remix tool much yet, primarily because I've never been on the content creation side of things. I
Mhm,
support teams that make content, so I haven't used it much.
mhm,
But I remember seeing it rolled out at HubSpot, I think in 2023 inbound, and thinking, holy cow, like I can take a piece of content and whip out a landing page and an ad and a social post, like that looks amazing. Like, and for the content teams I support, is amazing. Um, but that was 2 years ago almost, and it has evolved.
mhm.
So excited to take a look at what it can do today, because it can do even more. But um, I have been very interested. Again, I don't really use it, but there is so much video recorded in an organization between like the individual employees and the CEO. And like there's so much there that could be used and easily leveraged. And the need is there to make things easier for the teams. Um, and they're always stuck relying on another team, a design team, to get the work done.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what we love about HubSpot, is that it just removes some of those cycles of waiting for another team to do a thing.
I think that's a really great point because I personally, just speaking to really my own brand, um, it takes a lot of time to make content. I like making guides and resources, but what stops me is truly how much time it takes to build those things. And that's really why I started doing lives. Is it's easier to just get on a call, on a recording like this, and just walk through it. That is truly the quickest way I can do anything. I mean, Loom has been popular for years, and that's because that is easier than, writing out all the instructions.
Mhm.
Um, and now I have all this video content, and I'm able to, with AI, turn that into other things fairly easily.
Mhm.
Um, my own my own business, I have a couple people that, work under me, And I sometimes when I make some of the guides that I make have been created because I walked one of my employees through a process, recorded it, sent them the recording, and told them, "Okay, take the transcript, turn it into a resource, put that into Canva, and add some screenshots, and now there's a guide," which I admit there's still a fairly decent amount of steps in that, but it's a lot less than, like, me writing it, which just won't happen, or or even me if we didn't record that, um, just having somebody write it up themselves.
Mhm. And another 2 more use cases, one of which we're not gonna cover today, but which I think is fantastic, is there is, because it's not in Content Remix, case study generation, right?
Mm, mhm,
It's somewhere else, right?
mhm. It is.
So we're not gonna cover that today, but I think like, I see how much time the content team puts into case studies. It's significant. The idea that HubSpot can take an interview, like just the transcript from an interview, and whip it into a PDF, a web page, clips from that, like, whoo, whoo, that's can't wait to see that.
Mhm,
But here's the other thing: video content. So many of the orgs that I work with, um, they I've only worked with one, like, small business, $100 million, that's had its own internal video production team. One.
mhm,
And you're usually relying on a consultant to help you with that. Again, there's cycles in sending that out. And the thing that the internet seems to be craving today is videos like this, like talking heads,
mhm,
especially of thought leaders. So your CMO, your chief product officer, whoever that is, talking about your product tends to be far more engaging than a scripted ad with animated graphics, whatever it is. But that tends to be the number one type of app on LinkedIn, on other platforms. Um, but you've got to get a camera to their location. You got to get it like a video crew. What we're about to look at, theoretically, you can just be on a Zoom with your CEO and ask them some questions, have them respond in a nice, casual, relax. Like, I don't know about you, but some of my CEOs, they are just the stuff that comes out of their mouth, and the product officers, like, just take that. It's gold. And very quickly, especially with the video clip editor here, you can make those short, concise clips that you can then use in ads that are really highly engaging.
mhm,
Quick, don't have to send it out.
mhm. Um, I think those are really great use cases. I think one of the hardest things to do is there feels like there's a lot of weight behind creating content, and what I have learned over the last 6 months is the more weight I put into that, the harder it becomes and the less stuff I'm creating, versus the more barriers we can break down, the more content we're creating, um, and not all of it's gonna land, not all of it's gonna but, um, but at least you have the option. So do you wanna start remixing something?
Let's start remixing something.
Um,
And we can start with whatever you want, but I definitely want to, I think, like, I've I've spent a lot of my career in digital advertising.
mhm,
Um, and I anyway, at some point I want to take a look at the video clips because I want people to see how easy this is.
cool. So if you have Content Hub Enterprise, you'll have access to this content remix. Want to acknowledge upfront, I know not everyone has Content Hub Enterprise. It's a fairly expensive addition to your team. I think it's worth it for the content remix alone. And we can chat about other ways you can still remix your content without this tool. Um,
We will.
but check
We
it out.
will. We promise that. We have some workarounds.
So if you have Content Hub Enterprise, this will be under your content menu and this remix tab, and it will take you here to content remix. Now I'll be able to start remix, and I'm going to add content. I did download a video for us to use.
That's great. I was wondering what you were going to use.
I didn't think about the fact that it might take a minute for it to upload. But in this period of time, I will mention that you can remix videos like I'll do here. You can also remix web pages, existing blogs. You can even add PDFs and things now. The important thing, AI is only as good as the content you feed it. I think when I tell people I use a lot of AI, the quick response is like, oh, AI doesn't produce anything good. AI just like mashes words together. And that is true if you don't give AI anything. If you asked AI to write a post about um, greyhounds and you didn't give it any good content, it's just gonna write a general post about greyhounds. Um, but empowering AI with human content is what makes AI better. And that's my current soapbox. um, I made a post about this recently because I see a lot of people posting, oh, if you have an M dash in the thing that you wrote, I know that it was written by AI. Yes, true, it was. I don't care. I don't care that it was. It doesn't mean the idea wasn't out of my brain. AI just made it my idea like legible and things like that. But that's like you said, Trisha, if you're able to record calls with your CEOs, your product managers, things like that, and feed that into a content remix and whatever AI tool you're using, that is going to provide a whole lot more value. And I do that with my call follow-ups too. I will just paste my full call transcript into ChatGPT, and I will say, hello, ChatGPT, please write a call follow-up. And I can't even imagine how much time that's saving me.
And I mean, not only the like time it's saving you, but also the asks that you have of your C-suite of their time to produce marketing content. I have been on so many. Well, I've worked for a lot of remote companies, and even if they weren't fully remote, town halls, for example, they're still like they still tend to be Zoomed. I've been on so many where the product, like the chief product officer, just whips out. They're reviewing new functionality for the team, and they do it so beautifully in that town hall. There's no need to like go have another production film that. But what we've lacked up to now is a quick, easy way for the people sitting in the marketing seats to just grab that from content that already exists. And that's what makes this so exciting to me.
Yeah. I'll also say, in the time this takes, this is like a 40-minute video and I'm streaming at the same time. So take that into consideration. But here I'll add that content in. This is fairly new. I can add more sources. So if I have a blog or something like that already about this, I can add that too. And I can also, I really like, and I can do that from a URL, a Google Drive. I also like this text, just in the, like, if I just have thoughts on this, I like that I could just like spit them into here and add that into the remix as well. So existing content, this is all going to be from your HubSpot account. I can reference any of the pages on HubSpot right now. New text pasted or said. And then here you can use files, Google Drive files. I really like this. And then you could also use a URL here. And then podcast and audio. So if you just had audio, if you didn't have a video, that's an option. Infographics would be an image. And then contacts.
I haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know if I have this figured out either, but
it's there. Maybe another one. We'll look at that. Like, it's intriguing, but I don't yet understand what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also worth mentioning. Okay, so you're seeing a lot of opportunity here to like start with a bunch of different pieces of source material. Some of which could be, like a style guide, a brand guide, those types of things. But I believe that it's also true that if you have your brand kit fully loaded, like if you have that populated, this will read from that, correct?
Correct. All right, so now that that's all uploaded, now I can select which content I want. I can select up to 6. So I can choose video clips here, maybe a blog post, and I can create multiple. So this is just one, an email, even a podcast, and let's do like 3 social posts.
And then explain the one at the top too, because I feel like, so that, is that just extra guidance to HubSpot on how you want them to transform this?
Yeah, I believe so. So if you wanted to,
like, for example, what did you pick? You picked a video clip, a blog post,
an email, and 3 social posts.
So I think the way that you would use that is if you wanted to give it extra guidance, like I want this blog post to be written to, like segment A, and I want it to be this length. I think that's where you would do that.
Yeah. You can do one of those just to see. Okay. Yeah. So you can do custom instructions. So if I wanted,
well, that one's video. Oh, here it is. Okay. So video clips has one, blog post attributes has one. Cool.
Template. Sure. Oh, this is that one, free form. So a press release, that's what this one is. So I can, basically anything else, I think is what
anything else. Okay. So every single thing that you click is going to give you an area for custom instructions. And this is just anything that falls outside. So this is where you could generate a case study, for example. But unlike the case study generator, which again, it's somewhere else, we haven't looked at that yet. Here's where you could give it that outline where it's like, I want you to present a case study with like problem, like define the company, problem, and solution, and results. Right.
And now it's gonna just, I mean, you can see it's starting to create all this stuff. Could have created more detail or less on any of these things. I didn't add a whole lot of context on any of these.
You didn't, but think about how much time that you traditionally spend creating one email. And you've spent, a minute on this.
So I should have said this at the beginning. The upload was last week's recording between you and I, Trisha, on just AI for beginners and some ways that HubSpot is enabling AI. And so this is what all of this will be about. Whether you're an AI newbie or just curious about HubSpot's latest innovations, you're in great company. We're diving into the fascinating world of AI. I mean, this is decent.
It's decent.
I mean, considering that I gave it no instructions, I truly just uploaded a video. I think this gives you a great starting place. And obviously you can save and edit in app and then modify from there. Or I obviously could go back.
And this is a demo portal, so it's not like you have your brand kit applied to this.
There is, I believe there's a brand kit, but not mine.
Not yours, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, great. And I could have added an image. I actually didn't select that, mostly so it would create this faster.
Yeah.
But I could have added an image there.
I mean, it's a great starting place. I feel like sometimes for me personally, the biggest challenge is just getting started. Once I have something to work with, I'm great at it. Like, adaptation is very fast for me, but getting started is my obstacle.
I agree. And if you looked at my ChatGPT, you would see most of my threads are either transcripts of things and saying, write an email around this, or they're so broad. It's things like, hey, what if I did a LinkedIn Live series with my friend Trisha about using AI as a beginner? And ChatGPT is like, great, I love that. Here's some topics you could cover. Here's a description of your first session. Here's this, here's that. Just truly immediately from there. And to your point there, you can. And
so we can't hear that.
Yeah.
But this is where, why don't you, I thought this was fantastic as well, the video editor. If you have ever struggled with video editing software, as I have, one of the features of this software that I thought was so cool is that you can edit by word. So as the video is playing, the transcript is playing next to it, and you can edit the transcript to edit the video. So for example, there's like a chunk that you don't want. Trimming, like trimming could be tricky. You just trim the text, it trims the video.
That is, yeah, and I can save and edit that too, so I can get rid of things from there. But now I have two 30-ish second clips that I can use on social just here automatically without me having to go in and do everything.
Something that I've talked about with my content teams is the idea of bringing emotion into advertising copy and into messaging. And I don't know how good AI is at this yet, but something that's also intriguing to me is in the prompts for video clips, for example, like extract the funniest moment from this video, or the ones where the people smiled the biggest or laughed the longest, to, find those moments of heightened emotion, because maybe something interesting happened in the video at that time. And if it resonates emotionally, it might also resonate with your audience. So anyway, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do there.
I mean, sure, I could edit these things. Sure, there's things to do, but I just want to like emphasize how easy this was. Like I basically I have done nothing.
You've done nothing, and it's all it's all there.
Mhm.
What does it look like to like go into the blog post, for example, and just quickly, what is the next step? Do you save and edit an app? Because I am assuming it's going to create a blog post now.
It
There,
is. It is gonna
there
create
you
a
go. Look at that. There it is.
and the same thing would be true if I'd done that with an email, with a clip, with a social post. I could just I mean, and obviously this is going to be in your brand. This is a demo portal, but it would in theory be in your blog template and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, so I know we're getting a little close on the hour, and I just want to make sure that we also cover alternatives. So again, not everyone has Content Hub. Um, not everyone has access to the content remix. What else? What are your options? I mean, what are your options?
Um, oh, well, okay. So I'm going to try,
Mm-hmm.
Casey, to share my screen with you. My system does not like sharing Chrome resources, and this streaming software runs on Chrome. So it tends to choke as soon as I try to do anything in Chrome, but we're going to try.
All right.
And I don't know, maybe you'll know. We're going to take a look at something. So here's what I did. I tried to replicate as much of this as I could just using Copilot,
Mm-hmm.
the little side panel.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
While
And
you
I
pull that up, I want to address David said, I'm curious in an age where everyone is using AI tools to generate far more content, do you find that it's harder to get even quality content in front of end prospects? Um, my personal response to this is um, the more human you are, the more likely people see through fully AI generated content. However, what people what cannot be seen through is genuine content. So the more genuine you are, the better. And if you're not just creating content for the sake of creating content, I mean, yes, I know I just showed where I could very easily create all those different types of content. I probably don't need to send that email out. Yes, so I think there's a combination there of making sure that you're not letting your AI tools just create poor quality content, you're feeding it good content. And then number 2 is not misusing the abilities, not falling into that trap where you too are just creating noise.
um so David, it's so nice to see you. Kate, I don't know if Casey, do you know David?
I don't. Hi,
Because
David.
you both, well, you were a contractor, but you both worked at the same organization, which was the pharmaceutical like anti-forgery thing. I did not say that very well. Um, uh, David is also a stellar, just very talented. He was a young pup when I first met him, but he's definitely older and wiser now. Uh, this has been very,
Probably
very much
young, probably still young.
but like not a pup anymore. He's sure. Um, this has been so much on my mind in the last weeks because I have so many favorite people that I follow, and I have started to feel bad that I can't consume more of their content because here's the thing, there are still 24 hours in the day, and these tools like HubSpot are now making it so easy, and other AI tools to pump content out into the world, that they're making even my favorite people, it's enabling them to, I mean, how much more content are you creating now, Casey, than you were a year ago?
The limit doesn't exist. Like, yeah, yeah.
Right? Right? And I can't keep up with it because that has not happened to the hours in my day.
What I think is interesting about that though is I'm now able to turn my content from videos into text, into images, into infographics. Like, I can with tools like Remix, I can take one asset and turn it into a bunch of different things, which then, Trisha, you might not watching a video might not be the best thing for you. Um, to be honest, I do a ton of lives. I do not expect everyone to be watching all of my lives. I don't expect them to watch all 30 minutes, an hour of each of those lives. However, with Content Remix, I can turn those lives into shorter clips. So maybe you would be able to consume a 30-second clip. Maybe you would be able to consume a infographic. So I think it gives us more flexibility to serve people with content that makes sense for them, is
Mhm.
my take.
Yeah, and that's what another reason why I'm so excited about these clips because I think it needs to get more TikTok-y, like shorter.
Mhm,
Um, but absolutely, I think it is going to get harder to get content in front of prospects, and I think
mhm.
that content creators are going to have to be more judicious about what they're putting out there because there's going to be so much more.
I also think our goals need to change. Um, so if you were expecting to get 500 opens on every email, I don't know, that's not whatever. Let's say that. Maybe now 50 opens is good on each email, but maybe you're able to send more emails to
Mm,
smaller segments, so you're able to, like yes, your volume might be smaller, but because you're producing more content, is that overall volume similar, or are those turning into more qualified contacts too? So, alright, Trisha, let's show your workaround.
okay. Um, I, 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 why, I don't want this little box to be here, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Do you? Oh, there we go. Oh,
Perfect.
but there we go. Do you know how to make? Do you know how to make the side panel bigger, or is it only is a side panel? Is that as big as it gets? Do you
I
think?
think that's as big as it gets,
Okay.
to my knowledge.
Well, here's my cheat for all of you that don't have the big, beautiful thing that is Content Remix, that allows you to do a lot of this still within, well, some of it still within,
Mhm,
without leaving the platform. So you've got if I close this the little collaborate with Copilot thing,
mhm,
under chats here, it stores your various chats that you've had with
mhm.
Breeze. Is this Breeze? Is it still Breeze?
It's turning into Copilot.
It's turning into Copilot. Okay. But what I did was I took our transcript from our list management live that we did some weeks ago.
Mhm,
I fed that in here. Um, I told it, I gave it a prompt of like turning it into a blog post, a LinkedIn ad, and an image.
mhm,
It gave, so here's what happened. Like it did give me all this stuff.
mhm,
I was under the impression that it would, just like Remix did, automatically create the blog post and the ads and stuff for me. It does not. You will have to copy the information out of the Breeze side panel and you'll have to open the asset and create it yourself. But it did do, in my opinion, a very good job of creating the text. I also liked what it did with the images. So
mm,
let us take a look at those. Like, so I fed it some kind of prompt about like, here's our transcript. um, I want you to do something for me about like taming the chaos
mm,
of lists. And this was the first guy it gave me. And I said, well, that's not quite it. And I kind of liked this one with
mhm,
this swirly mess. And then we've got organized stacks but I wanted the impact of what we're doing here to be more a little profound. And so this is where we ended up.
Mm, I like that too.
Yeah. So
I think one of the things I really like about AI is that whole process where you could be like, "I like this, but not that. Can you make it a little bit more like this?" And then it just will. Like, think about how much time it would take you to rewrite a blog with, like, a little bit of an extra, like, this edge or something like that. Like, it would take forever. Not
yeah.
forever, but
And just the amount of time that it takes to explain to a designer what you're looking for. Like this is
mhm,
literally what it's like to work with a designer.
mhm.
And but then you have to wait until they have the time to do the thing, and this is instantaneous.
George B. Thomas said on the, Hub Heroes podcast once, this is probably at least a year ago, he said, "The best thing about AI is it can type faster than I can." And I still feel that to be so true.
So one of my anyway, it generated the blog post for me. I'll show you what that looked like, unedited. And then it generated the images. It automatically loaded these images into the assets area of HubSpot. So they were
Mhm,
all available for me to just pick from. Even the drafts I didn't want. So I don't know how I feel
mhm.
about that, but that's what it did. Here's the thing. It lied to me in the beginning, and I've had a number of AI engines lie to me where I'm like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And then it'll ask me, "Would you also like me to do XYZ for you?"
And you're like, "Yes."
Absolutely. I say yes frequently, and I don't get what was promised. And so I say my question a little bit differently, and I still don't get what I'm promised. And I
Mhm.
say, anyway, as soon as I start to feel that friction, I ask it, "Can you actually do this thing that you promised you can do?" "Eh, no, really, I can't do that." "You're right." So that's a cue that I've picked up on pretty quickly is,
Mhm,
just ask the engine when you start feeling that friction if it can really do it, because a lot of times it can't, and it starts by lying to you.
mhm,
So anyway, this is what it built. Obviously, the sizing is weird, um, but you know, this is this is the content from our life. I think it did a great job at a first blush of putting it all together.
mhm.
Um, if you're not doing this like if you don't have remix, do this at the very least.
Mhm. And as we stated previously, like, look, I go live for this. Like, this is part of it, is now I have content to do all this other stuff with. Um, if you don't wanna go live, that's fine. But you are probably recording your calls. You can turn those into things. Um, you're having conversations. I was at a Culver's earlier this week with a friend. We were talking about lead scoring, and I was so tempted to just get my phone out and record the conversation so that it was just a good conversation. Like, you're having these conversations, and you have value. HubSpot's tools are making it easier to turn that value into something, that you can share at scale in a way, that's helpful. And I hope we can show you even more ways to do that. But this is one of my favorite ways. So,
Me too.
any final thoughts, Trisha?
No, I have no final thoughts. My brain
All
is
right.
tired. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you next time. Thank you all. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to drop them in the comments or let us know. And we will see you next time.
Bye.